Hi, a very good day. We are from group B05. Today we are going to present on Peter Drucker's biography. Our group leader is Farhan Aziz. Next. Okay. For the brief history of Peter Drucker, Peter Ferdinand Drucker, known as Peter Drucker, was born on November 1909 in Vienna, Austria. Drucker grew up in a liberal family with his mother, who was a doctor, and father that was a lawyer. In 1927, he came to Germany after graduate his bachelor degree and worked as an apprentice at an established cotton trading firm, then as a journalist for another firm. In 1931, he graduated from Goethe University, Frankfurt, with a PhD in international law and public law. Then he moved to England. He worked for an insurance business in London before becoming the head economist of a private bank. Later, he reconnected with Doris Smith, a former university peer, and they got married. After marriage, they moved to the United States permanently, where he worked as a university lecturer, freelance writer, and business consultant. Drucker was naturalized as a United States citizen after 10 years. Over the next 70 years, he did a lot of writings where his books were filled with lessons on how organizations can bring out the best in people and how workers can find a sense of community and dignity in a modern society. Apart from that, you also have a notable teaching career, first as a professor of politics and philosophy at Bennington College for 7 years, and then as a professor of management at New York for 21 years. In 1971, Drucker moved to Claremont Graduate University in California, where he established one of the country's first executive MBA programs for working professionals. Now it is known as Claremont Graduate School. He was the Clark Professor of Social Science and Management at Claremont for 30 years. In 1999, he founded the Drucker Archive at Claremont Graduate University, which later became the Drucker Institute. Apart from that, he worked as a consultant for corporation and charity groups until he was 90 years old. And at the age of 92, Drucker gave his final class and died on November 11, 2005 in Claremont, California, United States because of natural death. That's all from me. I'll pass to Tita.
Thank you, Peshantini. I will continue on the contribution part. There are 5 major contributions of Peter Drucker. Number 1, management by objectives. Number 2, organization structure. Number 3, its nature of management. Number 4, management function. And 5th one is federalism. Let's start from the management by objectives. Management by objectives is regarded as one of the most important contribution of Drucker to the discipline of management. According to Drucker, MBO is not only a technique of management, but it's a philosophy of managing. MBO is a strategic management model that aims to improve the performance of an organization by clearly defining objectives that are agreed by the both management and employees. Secondly is organization structure. Drucker has decried a bureaucratic structure because of its too many dysfunctional effects. Therefore, it should be replaced. He has emphasizes 3 basic characteristics of an effective organization, which are: number 1 is enterprise should be organized for performance. Number 2, it should contain the least possible number of managerial levels. The last one is it must make possible the training and testing of tomorrow's top managers' responsibility to a manager while he is young. Thirdly is nature of management. Drucker is an opponent of bureaucratic management and a proponent of management that is creative and innovative. The primary goal of management is to steer people in the direction of innovation. While pursuing a career in management, Drucker does not advocate for management to be viewed as a rigorous profession, but rather as a more liberal one, emphasizing that managers must have not only skills and techniques, but also the proper viewpoint when conducting businesses. Fourthly is management function. According to Drucker, management is the organ of its institution. He views management through the lens of its tasks. As a result, there are 3 basic functions of a manager that he must perform in order for the institution to make its contribution. Number one is the specific purpose and mission of the institution, whether businesses or hospital or university. Secondly is making work productive and the worker achieving. Thirdly is managing social impacts and social responsibility. Lastly is federalism. Drucker was an outspoken supporter of federalism. Federalism is defined as a centralized control in a decentralized structure. The delegation of authority is only one aspect of an decentralization structure. It established a new constitution and ordering principle. He has emphasized the close relationship between top management decisions and one-to-one hand and autonomous unit decision on the other. That's all from me. I will pass to next presenter, Yasmin.
Okay, thank you, Tirta. Okay, now I will continue the presentation on challenges faced by Peter as part of being a leader. There are three of them, which is the first challenge that faced by him, which is facing a controversy on his first book. Although he has published more than 30 books in his entire life, yet his first book sparked debates because it discussed the ground of fascism, emergence, and examined the failure of established institutions. He argued that a new social and economic order is required. Despite the fact that he finished the book in 1933, he had to wait since no publisher was willing to publish such an awful vision of his book. But then, Drucker has successfully tackled controversial contentious topics like individual liberty, industrial society, large business, managerialism, automotion, monopoly, and totalitarianism. Next, the second challenge is he got criticism by society. In 1987, the Wall Street Journal looked into several of his lectures and found that he was occasionally inaccurate with the facts. For example, the incident happened when Drucker informed the audience that English was the official language to all employees at Japan Mitsui Trade Corporation, and that was he was mistaken. Next, the other criticism that got by Drucker is because of his core concept, which is management by objective. The concept is not exactly correct and has never been proved to work effectively. According to Dale Kruger, who is a critic, claims that the system is hard to apply, and in order to fulfill their objective, the organization typically will overemphasize control rather than cultivating innovation. And last but not least, the challenge that faced by Peter Drucker is a failure of top management concept. At first glance, Drucker perceived a rise in a relevance of top management in this new world. Despite increasing the demand on top management, Drucker saw that top management was failing to deliver. For example, at that time, the failure rate of top executives in large American corporations was pointing in the same direction. And a substantial percentage of CEOs, such as companies who were appointed in the last 10 years, were ousted after a year or two because of the failure. This indicates that the job they took on had become impossible to complete. So the American track record implies that it was a system failure rather than human failure. Therefore, a new concept for top management in large organization is required. I think that's all from me, and I will pass to Mardia to continue the presentation.
All right, thank you, Yasmin. I will continue the presentation. For my part, I will explain about the action used by Peter Drucker to achieve as a leader. So one of the action made by Peter is delegate equal power across board. Peter's way of thinking is that it's important for people under him to respect him as their manager or leader. He always makes sure there are people under him to share their idea within the team, whether during informal meeting or formal meeting. He always giving a chance to their team to share ideas and be treated equally will make them more confident and motivates in their work, which will benefit the company and as it benefit them too. The second one is encourage collaboration. While handling in a work team, Peter as a leader always encourage collaboration. As a leader, Peter loves to encourage doing collaboration work rather than leave people under him doing work alone. From the view of Peter, the outcome working alone and with other people will result differently because when working alone, the idea is not developed. While working together with others, we develop a lot of new ideas because they will having a two-way communication with each other. But when people under him have to work alone, Peter will serve those people as a coach so that he or she does not feel like can ask for help or inspiration from others. The last one is boost innovation. Boost innovation is one of the actions made by Peter as a leader for their people under him. Being a leader, Peter always made sure to create an innovative atmosphere among the group of people by showing to their people that mistakes are not shortcoming. This is one way to gain other people who work with him, gaining more confidence. That's why he willing to take the risk. Peter sees their team as humans so that he will understand that one or two efforts do not always lead to the success. This is why Peter never punish people. Instead, support their idea and use it to boost a lot more innovation in the future. That's all from my part. I will pass to Farhan to continue the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mardia. So I will continue on how Peter Drucker became a transformational leader and how he managed to make a successful change management strategy. As you know that Peter Drucker, known as a father of a modern management, are one of the good example of a transformational leaders. So because he was practiced the 4I into his leadership style in order to become a top transformational leader. The first one is the intellectual stimulation. As we know in the Madhya, his action on boost innovation, he encouraged the intellectual innovation, encouraged the thinking of their workers and the idea of their workers. And therefore, they create innovative atmospheres around his colleague. A second is the inspirational motivation. As we can see in his book, he successfully predicts the future of the blue worker, that they say that the blue worker will marginalize in the future. And therefore, when he said that, he actually inspired other people to change the way of the management to not focus on the blue collar. And second is the challenge other people to be creative around him. The third is the individual consideration. He encouraged the collaboration among other company, as we can see in the theater slide. He encouraged the uh, teamwork among others department, and also he's always monitoring people under his leadership. And lastly, the idealized influence. He, as we see, Madhya said that he treat people equally under his management. He also treat people with respect, and because of that, he gained the respect for his position. Okay, and there are also 5 characteristics of organizational change leader that according to Peter Drucker. Is the first is the questioning, seek and information and communicate. So this is the Peter Drucker practice about the change in management. Second is a practice good management. Third is constantly moving forward. Fourth is being bold, strategic, and calculate the risk. And fifth is the focus on marketing and innovation. So therefore, with these 5 characteristics, according to Peter Drucker, uh, we can be managed to become a good transformational leader and be good change in management. This is all for me. I will pass to next presenter.
Sorry.
Okay, the topic that relates to Peter Drucker is knowledge management. Okay, knowledge management is a discipline that promotes an integrated approach to identify, capturing, evaluating, retrieving, and share all of enterprise information assets. Peter Drucker is one of the most widely known and influential thinker on management. Peter Drucker, also known as the father of modern management. In his book that titled The Practice of Management, he stated that management is a multi-purpose organ that manage business, manage managers, and manage workers. There are many contributions that Peter Drucker makes in management. One of that is Peter Drucker introduced the management by objective, which is MBO, that approach that is required to be achieved between the objective of employees and an organization. In this approach, there are certain conditions that must be to success. For example, the objective was set after the discussion between managers and employees. Besides that, daily feedback must be given the employees regard their performance. And the last and next is employer with high performance must be rewarded and others. And it showed that Peter Drucker has introduced the approach that leader can use to achieve their objective in the company. It one of the initiatives that introduced by Peter Drucker that can use by the manager to change the way how the organization operates to achieve their company objective. So it show that it is work because there are many managers that use the approach in their management. I think that's all for my part. I will pass the presentation to Amma to continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aida. Okay, now I will proceed about the emotional intelligence and the social intelligence that can be related with Peter Drucker. Firstly, emotional intelligence consists of four subsets, which are self-management, self-awareness, and social awareness and relationship management. All these, each subsets are very related towards the emotional intelligence that Peter Drucker has brought into his life. Okay, firstly, Peter Drucker has proven that he was able to control his feelings and behavior as he tackled the controversy regarding his publication of his first book. And then Peter Drucker also has empathy towards his employees so that they can get equal treatment, and he helped them grow, especially for the blue collar employees. And another one, Peter Drucker has good relationship management as he was connected with his wife, Doris Mitch, and he also encouraged collaboration when working among the employees and among other company and firms. So this shows that all the emotional intelligence are related to Peter Drucker in terms of their self-management, in terms of self-awareness, social awareness, and relationship management. Okay, and now next slide. We will be continuing for the social intelligence that is related towards with Peter Drucker. Okay, social intelligence is related with five subsets, which are situational awareness, presence, authenticity, clarity, and empathy. So Peter Drucker is aware of the situation of he as he assesses the situations of his employee, and he is trying to help them to be the best as he introduced many new management outcomes and management preach so that he can help the employees to be better. Another part, Peter Drucker also have faith in himself, and he also put his faith in employees so that he can encourage them. Okay, next part is Peter Drucker possess clarity. This clarity meaning is he express his feelings towards what he enjoy about. So when he facing challenges, he becomes so clarity about what the challenges he faced during his times as father of management. Okay, next. Peter Drucker also helps to build up relationships and alliances among employees and educators. This shows that the social intelligence that can create an effective leader such as Peter Drucker is very well proven, and it also makes Peter Drucker who he really is. Until right now, he is very memorable for everyone. Okay, I think that's all from my part. I will pass back to the first presenter, Shantini.
Okay, so now we would like to reflect what is the best takeaway from MGM4136 for our future. For me, from this course, I have learned that a strong mindset is what allows us to stay focused on our intention instead of negative thoughts. And I have also learned that when we are confident, we are more likely to move forward with people and opportunities. Thank you. I'll pass to the next presenter.
Thank you, Prashantini. In my opinion, the best takeaway from MGM4136, I will say that this course has taught me how to dream big and the ways that we can use to achieve our dream. This course also has increased my confidence level on achieving my goals. At this time, I would like to thank Mr. Mehan for inspiring me to achieve my future goals. That's all from me. I pass to next presenter.
Okay, thank you, Tita. Actually, there are many things that I've learned, and basically it is about motivation from this class. And I have discovered about my strength and also my weakness in myself. Therefore, I can conclude from all the class session that we need to focus on doing something in order to avoid failure. And overall, my best takeaway from this class is to learn more about life out there, which purposely can apply in our daily life, such as effective communication, being a good leader, and becoming more successful. Thank you. I will pass to the next presenter.
All right. For me, I love the way Mr. Mahan teach because he taught us. He teach like a coach, not as a student. And then I learned a lot about how to be a good leader, manager in a team. And I also realized that communication is a key to be a good leader. And another that I also learned that a good environment play important role in workplace. Referring to the one of the video that Mr. Mehan shared in the class about the selling fish. That one is impressed me. That's it for my part. I'll pass to the next presenter.
Okay, thank you. For me, it's the best takeaway is that we didn't know a lot of things about the other knowledge. So seek knowledge every day, every time. So never stop to read the books, seek a knowledge. And that is for me. I will pass to the next presenter.
Okay, for me, I think I like this class because it's just not about a current issue in management, but it gives me more motivation because Mr. Mehan like give motivation to us, like he show a video about management and others. Besides that, I think I have learned many about management that I can use in the future, which is risk management, the continuity plan and others. I think it is a good for my future. Okay, I pass to next presenter.
Okay, for me, for the takeaway from this class from MGM4136 is where the concept of Mr. Mehan treat us like a trainees instead of a student. So we feel like we are in a management class. So he coaches us to be a better manager, to be a better leader one day perhaps. So this is what I like about the class and MGM4136. Okay, I think so. Next.
So that's all from us, the group B05. We like to say thank you very much